Hi, everybody, it's JoJo, and I'm here to do a story time. So this is going to be a prequel to the story time I did. I did a story time about 3 years ago about how I was kicked out of high school 2 weeks before graduating. This is the prequel to that. So if you want to know the continuation to this story, I will link that video down below in the discussion box. But this is a prequel. So these are the events that happened before my last year in this school. So this school I went to was called Lifeline, Child Development. It was a special school for children with special needs. I was there for a learning disability, but then it turned into something else. Like I originally got there because of a learning disability, and because I was hyperactive, and everything, and it was best to. I do think that my family made a good decision bringing me to that school, because I do think that I did need that school. I was there for special, what was it? It was learning disability, and I went there when I was in 7th grade, I think. I started 7th grade, and then I left in senior year of high school, the 12th grade. So it's in Queens. It's a school in Queens. And yeah, I was there for how many years? So that would be 7, 8, 9, 10. And I was left back a year because my senior year, I got left back because I couldn't pass my SATs, my final test. I could not pass it worth a damn. I had to get a special tutor and everything. I could not pass this goddamn test. I could not. I mean, it was so hard. I got left back a year because of it, and it was just traumatizing. I was traumatized. It was the social studies one. So, yeah, so I was there for, God, I think 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like 7 years. I was there for like 7 years, yeah. So from 2003 to 2010. So yeah, 7 years. So much shit happened. So I'm not going to talk about I think my first year there, my last year there were probably the craziest. And I already told you about my last year. But this is going to be my first year. So I got there when I was 12. It was 7th grade, and it was 2003. It was a crazy start to my years in Lifeline, I'm telling you right now. So the grades are from pre-K all the way to you graduating senior year from high school. Like, you can stay there until then. They're all grades. It's a smaller school. It has 2 floors. Everyone gets a therapist. Everyone gets like a counselor. And everyone gets a para in the class. So you get a teacher and a para. I always hated the paras, and we'll talk about it in a second. So, my first year was crazy. It really, really was. Oh my God, there was like a fight every other day in my class. Like, it was crazy. And I'm not talking about like little, like, it was like, it got physical. Like, I think I got into at least 8 or 9 physical fights in that school throughout my whole time there. Yeah. Yeah, it was. Listen, I started with a learning disability though, but then it turned into something else. I got teased and picked on a lot. I did. I don't think it was because I was gay. I don't think that was it. I just think they picked on me because I was the new kid at the time, and they were just picking on me. And maybe I was an easy target. Maybe I just seemed less intimidating. So they picked on me. They would just, I don't know what they would do. They would throw my books on the floor. They would like nudge into me. Call me stupid, whatever. Just call me ridiculous names. And I would cry. I got very emotional. I'd cry. I didn't really have a backbone. I got like really emotional, and I really didn't have any friends. I made one friend, and we had sleepovers and everything. And there was a lot of characters in this school that were like, this guy I'm talking about, my one friend I had, he was a little out there too. Like, like they all were. You cannot go to this school and be normal. Like, it's just, you're not qualified. You're not qualified to be in Lifeline if you're normal. You're just not. So we all had an edge to us. We all had something going on. If it was a learning disability, if it was emotional distress, if it was, inner demons with anger, emotional stuff, even deep stuff like cutting, just like acting out. People even with like symptoms where like they would hard to concentrate, ADHD, OCD, like everything in between, you know? So yeah, my first year was crazy. I had a crush on one guy. I will say that. I had a crush on one guy. And he was only at the school the first couple years I was there. He was my second crush ever, I remember. He was my second crush ever. I'm not gonna say any names. I'm not saying any names. But yeah, he was a cute kid, and but we fought. It was so crazy because I had a crush on him, but then all we did was fight. Like I fought with everyone. Everyone fought with everyone. It wasn't just me. Everyone fought with everyone in that first year of that class. Everyone fought, and I felt so bad for my teacher because my teacher at the time she couldn't walk. Like I don't know what I don't know what her story was, but it was before the school year even began. She had like something with her leg, and she couldn't even walk. And I shouldn't be laughing, but the period after lunch where the power would go on lunch. So the period after lunch where we had our lunch, the power would then go on lunch. The power, whichever power was in our class, they would all go on lunch break. And then, so my teacher was left by herself in the class with all these crazy kids. I felt so bad for her. She couldn't walk. She could barely even get up. And we were going crazy, killing each other. It was just, I felt so bad for her. I liked her though. I liked all my teachers. I didn't like a lot of the powers. There was a couple of powers in particular I hated. And I'll tell you why. Because I think a lot of the powers didn't know how to do the job right. They didn't. I think they used their authority. Like, they kind of, what's the word? Like, they kind of, like, overkilled it. Like, they kind of, like, they're, like, I don't know what the word is, but, you know, like, they abused, there you go, they abused their power, where, like, they would just, there was a time where we had, like, a point sheet, and we would get points taken off if we misbehaved. They would take off points for nothing, literally. They would take off points for nothing. I remember there were times where they would just take off points just because I think I went to the bathroom one too many times that day. I don't even know. Like, there was just stupid things they would just scream at us for. It was just, they were really nasty. Like, they were not nice people, these powers. Like, I don't know if that's the type of, like, qualifications you're supposed to have as being a power in the school, but they were all, most of them were really nasty and not nice people. I think maybe because, I don't know, maybe they're not getting paid well, and they have a hard job because we all are very, like, oversensitive kids. Like, you know, we are very, like, hypersensitive and everything, and, like, they probably couldn't handle us, which I get, but, you know, then don't work there. You know what I mean? If you know you're going to deal with kids like this, you shouldn't work there if you're going to get frustrated and whatever. But yeah, my first year was crazy. So many fights, such craziness. But the one friend I made, later on, he started to get, like, weird because I think that he was secretly gay. He actually confessed to me. I'm not saying any names, so no one's gonna know who I'm talking about. But he actually confessed to me that he was into men, and then he kind of took it back shortly afterwards. And then he just started to, like, attack me because he knew I knew his secret, and he started to be extra sensitive towards it and, like, call me names and call me, you know, gay slurs and whatever. And everyone knew he was gay. He had a high-pitched voice. He was really, really, like, what's the word? Like, self-conscious about that voice. Like, if he had to make a speech in front of the class, he would, like, deepen his voice. Knowing we all know his voice is high, but he's purposely deepening it. So yeah, the first year was crazy. The second year, was crazy too. Like, I had this teacher, he was a very tall black man. And I'm not gonna say his name as his full name, but part of his name had wood in the name. I'm not gonna say, he had something else in the name, but I'm not gonna say the full name because I'm not going there, you know, I'm not saying names. But there was a part in his name that had wood in it, okay? And, I didn't know about sex, you guys. I knew nothing about sex, anything like that. I was really sheltered. The school was very sheltering too, you know, like, we were very sheltered. There were times when the boys and girls couldn't even sit together at lunch. Like, we were very sheltered. We were very, like, you know, they watched us like a hawk in that school. There are powers all over the place. cameras, what have you. Like it was a very like intense school. It was kind of like, I don't want to say jail, but I mean, and it wasn't really that clean, the school. It was kind of like dirty, the bathrooms were filthy as hell. Um, so yeah, so anyway, so this teacher had his name had like Wood in his last name, and I would call him Mr. Wood for short, and he did not like that. I didn't know the sexual innuendo in it, so I didn't know at the time. I didn't know, I had no idea, but he got very offended, and I felt bad. But at the end of the day, like I don't know, like that sexual innuendo with wood. I guess like morning wood. I mean, that's what I guess they were all like thinking I meant, but I really didn't mean that. I was just saying his name, just to shorten it. That's all I was saying, or what I was doing. I was just shortening his name. Yeah, the second year again, there was people picking on me. But then my mom died. The third year, the third or fourth year I was in the school. My mom died. The beginning of the year, so she died in 2006 in September, and that's when it changed. Like I don't know how, but I got thicker skin. I started to fight back, and oh my god, that I was like, I would just yeah, I would like let them know like not to pick on me anymore. Like I grew a backbone. I had it, and anyone who picked on me from there on, I gave it to them. And I actually, sometimes I even gave it to them more than maybe I should have. But I mean, at the end of the day, I was traumatized for years. They were picking on me. I was crying, everything. And then after my mom died, I grew a thick skin, and I was like, no, I'm not going to let people pick on me anymore. And that was it. I really liked a couple of my teachers. One teacher I really, really liked, you know, we had a little things too, like we went back and forth, but I really, really liked her. She was really, really nice. She was very giving. Like for Christmas, she would always give gifts for everyone. She was a very giving, sweet woman. She left the school because she was sticking up for me one day. This kid was like picking on me, and she stuck up for me, and she was maybe said some things that weren't so nice to him, but she was sticking up for me, and she got transferred out of the school because of it. Yeah, she had to leave the school and go to another school that was kind of like similar to our school, kind of in the same like realm, but it was like a different school. They had to evict her out of the school because of the name she was calling him. But in defense, she was defending me. But and then there was an after school program. We went to this other school. After school, we would go, and we had an after school program. We had summer school. If we to take extra classes. Yeah, and I always said this school was the best and worst times of my life. It really made me made me go crazy at times, but then it also made me stronger. And I don't think I would be as strong as I am right now if it wasn't for that school. I went through a lot in that school. I started having bad anxiety, anxiety attacks, and everything else during the period. And one of my counselors and therapists got me on a really good medication and helped me with that. One of my therapists, my first therapist I had while I was there, he left. Then I got a new therapist, but I was happy because I really liked her. And then at the very end, I remember being like, can we still keep in contact? But she was like, no, we can't. And I kind of got offended. I took it personal. I shouldn't have took it personally. But I took it personally, and I was not nice after that. But I knew where she was coming from. She wasn't allowed to keep in touch with me after I left the school. Like, she wasn't allowed to. Just her job, it wouldn't allow her to. And at the time, I didn't understand it, but now I do, obviously. But yeah, I really liked her. And yeah, the school was really intense. I mean, we really did drive everyone crazy. So many people pulled the fire alarm for no reason at times. I remember the fire alarm getting pulled a million times. There was this one kid that flipped a table at a teacher. There was a time when there was just physical fights in the hallway. I would leave this, and people were getting thrown across the floor. And the backyard was kind of like a playground. It wasn't for like teens or young adults. It was for little kids. But that's where we would go for our lunch break. We would go outside in the backyard, and there was swings, and there was like slides and whatever else. It was a very low budget school. It really, really was. They didn't have much in the school. They had a gym, they had a backyard, and a small cafeteria, and that was it. They didn't have much. But yeah, I'm trying to think later on down the line. Yeah, I mean, years passed, and you know, it was it just got intense. Like I know the last year I told you it got intense. The year that I finally stuck up for myself, I got into a lot of fights, a lot of physical fights, um, and yeah, it was intense. It was intense. You don't want to go to school and fight. You're waking up 6 o'clock, and I had to wake up like 6 o'clock in the morning because the school bus. Okay, so I live in Queens, but I was still far from the school, and they picked me up early. 6:30 in the morning sometimes, like a little after 6. And there was a couple of my old videos on my old channel where like I was filming a video, and the bus was honking and I had to leave. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning, and no one wants to go to school and fight after that. Like going on like a cheese bus to school, you're tired, you're exhausted, you're barely passing your classes, all this stuff, and then you have to deal with drama every day. I mean, no one wants to deal with that. I'm trying to think else. I mean, that's really it to the story. I just wanted to delve more into the school and specific things that took place. I loved a couple of my teachers I really loved. My science teacher, my art teacher. The thing I have over here, which I showed in my room tour, like the thing that says Joey and like, like the rectangular like art project like on the wall there. That my art teacher made that for me in Lifeline. Yeah, I kept it. Yeah. I really liked her too. She's really sweet. Yeah, you know. You do have to be a strong person to deal with Lifeline. Again, and there's also a quiet room. I think I mentioned in my other video, there's a quiet room where you go in there if you misbehave. If you go in there, like a detention, you have to go in there. It's like a white padded room. And it's kind of like a cell where you like stand in there. It's like just this white room, and they lock the door, and that's it. Like you stay in there all day sometimes. I only was in there once, and it was crazy. I was only in there once because of all the shit I got into and the fights and everything. But I was only in there once, and the one time I was in there was that story time I did. Was when I got into that physical fight. As I said, my last year was really crazy. I think it really topped them all. Like it really was. So yeah, I was dealing with a lot. People dying, family drama. School, I wasn't that good in school, and I deal with all the drama at school and everything else with the mean powers and the crazy kids that would pick on me. And it was just a lot. It was a lot. That school was a lot, but I stayed strong. I stuck it out, and I left. I left in 2010, and yeah. So the school's still standing. I know the school's still standing. I visited one time, only one other time, and I don't think I'm ever going to visit again. I just wanted to visit one time, just see how everyone was, and I don't think I'm going to do it again. But it was a big part of my life. It was a big chunk of my life. I was there for 7 years. For God's sake, I was there for 7 years. Yeah, so, but, I grew stronger. There were times when I felt like I regretted a lot I did in that school. It was mean sometimes. I know, like, I did things that weren't the nicest. But, I grew a thick skin, and I felt like it made me who I am today. And I'm appreciative of it. But would I do it over again? Like, would I ever go back to that school? Or if I had a kid, would I ever bring my kid to that school? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. But, it was definitely an experience. It really was. It was definitely... You had to be there. That's all I'm going to say. You had to be there because words cannot describe everything that happened in that school. Anyways, I love you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this story time, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.